Hello, I'm Jonathan Crest from the School of Mathematics and Statistics at the University of New South Wales, and I'm going to show you how to insert some equations into a Word document. So I've got some words already here, and I'll just fill in with some equations. So first of all, to insert an equation from the we need to go to the ribbon and select equations. So that goes to, first of all, we go to Insert, and then over to Symbols. If the window is a bit wider, you might see equations here as well. But I'll click on this, and there's the equation. So that's where you insert it. You can see that it tells you can use Alt equals to also insert an equation. So perhaps we'll do that mostly. So let's just start by inserting an equation. Let's insert the displayed equation for the formula for a geometric progression. Okay, so let's get rid of this xxx. That was just to remind me where to put it. And I'll insert it using this, so an equation, and I want this to be not in line as it is here. I want it to be displayed, so I'll change to display. Okay, so now let's just start typing what we want, and what I want is a sum, and you can see up here we've got various things we can include. I want a large operator, and the large operator I want is this one. Okay, so it's a sum from k equals 0 up to n of a times, and I want something with a superscript, so I'll click on here and choose this option. Oops, I've got to get in that box, a r to the k, and then I use the right arrow to get out of the subscript, and then equals, and now I want a fraction, so choose fraction, and the numerator, I'll fill that in first, that's a, and now I'm going to use some brackets, and it's often a good idea to use brackets from here because these brackets will expand in size if the stuff inside gets bigger. So that's, I want a superscript, so like so. And on the bottom line I want r minus 1. Okay, so there we've got our formula. That looks quite nice. One thing I haven't done properly here is this is actually the end of a sentence. The formula for the sum of a geometric progression is, here it is here, that's a sentence that doesn't have a full stop at the end, so let's just go back in and put a full stop. Okay. So we put a displayed equation in. Now let's put one in line. So small equations or symbols are inserted in line. Let's just do that here. I'll make up an equation, and I'm going to use Alt equals this time to insert the equation. So, and I'll just make it something simple. Y equals x squared plus 1. Notice I didn't use the script up here this time. I just typed x caret 2, and that automatically did it. You can do it. You'll learn sort of keyboard shortcuts along the way, or just do it using the palettes. So this equation involves the variables x and y, and I notice this x and y here just in the usual text font. That's wrong. We don't want that. So let's just get rid of that. Alt equals x, and I use the arrow to get out of there. Oh, it didn't work. I'll click somewhere else. There we are. And Alt equals y. It's taking a moment to get out of the formula. There we are. So now we can see x and y are in the same style as they are in the equation, and that's what we want. So x and y should be typeset using the equation editor, even though they're just single symbols in the text. Okay, now let's do something a little bit more complicated. We're going to find a cross product. So the cross product, I'll just get rid of that, and I'll do this as a display equation again. So I'll do Alt equals, and then change this to display. And we want to do the cross product of two vectors. Okay, so for a vector we need some brackets, like so. And in the bracket we want to have some sort of matrix or vector kind of thing. So let's choose from the matrix, and these things have no brackets, so you can just put them in like that. Let's just fill these in. I'm using the arrow key to go down between them. And now we want to make it a cross product. So we go up to here, There's the cross. If you click on this, you get a whole lot more, and you can choose other things as well, but let's just use the cross. Notice the cross, the time, this is a times symbol. It's not an X. You do not just use an X or a capital X. It's actually a special symbol. And now another matrix, sorry, another vector, like so. Click in here, turn that single square into 3 vertical dots, 3 vertical spaces, 4, 5, 6 equals. Let's type that with the keyboard. There's also an equal symbol there if you want. And now another vector. So I put the brackets, choose those 3 dots. If you want larger matrices than are offered in the palette, you can, if you click to the right here, you get the option to insert columns or rows above. So you can then use that to make this bigger, but I'll just do it like this. So we want to calculate what this element here is, and it's 2 times 6 minus 5 times 3, so that's 12 minus 15 minus 3, and I think I worked this out before. You better check, I might be wrong. But even if it's wrong, you still see how to insert vectors and cross products and such like. Okay, let's do something else. Let's see the definition of the derivative of a function. Let's say a function, and we're going to call it f. So I'll insert an equation, f colon. Let's make it from R to R. So I'll go up to here, switch from basic math to letter-like symbols to choose the R, and then we want to also go back to, let's go back to basic math for an arrow, and then to letter-like symbols for another R. Okay. At let's say the derivative of the function f from R to R at x. X is going to be a math symbol, so we put in here x, and then we want to find the element of symbol. That's in operators. Where is it? There it is. And let's put letter-like symbols R. So we've got f, we're finding the definition of the derivative of a function f at x in R is, and now let's put a displayed math. So insert, I used alt equal again, and then I'll make this display like so. And we want f dashed of x equals, now for limit, it's going to be one of these things over here, limit and logs. Okay, we want that kind of a limit. At the bottom it's let's do this form of the derivative where it's h goes to 0. In the basic math we want the arrow and a 0, and then for this we need a fraction, f of x plus h minus f of x and all over h. And again, this is the end of a sentence, so I'll put a full stop. Okay. Now let's typeset 2 equations. So suppose that we have 2 equations. Let's get rid of these x's and put a display math equation in here. Change, it's gone off the bottom of the screen, but I'm clicking change to display. Maybe I'll do it up a bit. There. Change to inline, change to display. Right. Okay, so what I want to do here now is I want to actually insert 2 equations that are lined up, and each equation is going to have a left hand side, a right hand side, and an equals, and I want the equals lined up, so I'm going to use a matrix for that. And it's a matrix without any brackets, and it want to be one like that. And okay, so I'm going to put the equal signs in here, and I'm going to let's just move that up a bit. Here I'm going to make the alignment to the right, matrix align, column alignment right. The right is just off the bottom of the screen, unfortunately, but and I'll make these ones here align to the left. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to type. Now I'm going to use x1, x2, and x3, where that 1, 2, and 3 are subscripts. And you can do that with this here. That's a subscript there. Oops, I didn't want that to undo that. Just start typing. See, I didn't want the whole thing to be a subscript. I want to type some stuff in here. But I'm going to do a shortcut to get the subscript, and that's like so. You put an underscore. So x underscore 1, and then plus 2 x underscore 2 minus x underscore 3. And then hit a space to make the last one work. Okay. And I'm going to have 3 x underscore 1 minus 2 x underscore 2. Okay, and then on the right hand side, let's make this 6 and minus 2. So there we've got some nice equations, all with the equal signs lined up. Okay, let's just solve these equations. We can write down a parametric form for the solution of the system of equations. So let's first I'm going to put an equation in here, alt equals, and I'm going to let x1, x underscore 1 equal lambda. You can find lambda in the palette up above, or you can just type / lambda. That really comes from LaTeX, I think. But you can use these sort of shortcuts. The equation editor in Microsoft Word understands a lot of LaTeX commands. That's been a popular request over the years, and they've finally done it. Okay, then from the second equation we have, let's just put something in here. From the second equation we can get that x2 is equal to 3x1. Hang on, that didn't work. x2 is equal to 3x1 plus 2. I think I've rearranged that correctly. Okay, and then let's do a little bit more work there. So that's 3 lambda plus 2. Then from the first equation we have yes, the first equation we can use to work out what x3 is. So let's put that in an equation. x3 is x1 plus 2x2. This is just coming from the first equation, minus 6. And that's equal to, well, x1 is lambda. Let's put some brackets in. What I want here, 2 lots of, this is 2 lots of x2, but we already worked out x2 is 3 lambda plus 2, and then minus 6. And that all simplifies to 7 lambda minus 2. Okay, so we can put these all together into a vector form, because we've now got x1, x2, well, a little space in there, x1, x2 and x3 all in terms of lambda. Let's make this a display equation, and it's going to be a vector equation, so let's add some brackets, and that needs to be a column with 3 things. x1, x2, I just put a space and then a backspace to make it turn that subscript correctly, equals, and then another vector, so some brackets, and then turn that into 3, 0. So this is coming from, this is the constant term for x1 is 0, the constant term for x2 is 2, and the constant term for x3 is minus 2. and then we've got plus lambda, oops, lambda, and another vector. One, 3, 7. And this should have a comma, I think, after the end of it. I'll put a comma in there. Okay, so, and where, let's just say that lambda is a real number, so where lambda in, that was a little shortcut for the set element symbol, but I don't know the shortcut for that one. I'm sure there is one. Okay. Now let's just do one more where I just want to demonstrate one last thing. I'll write a set of rational numbers. The definition of the set of rational numbers. Let's put an equation in, and I want this to be displayed. So Q. Actually, let's call it. Let's use the proper Q. There we go. Q equals, and now I want to have large or expandable brackets, curly braces, because I'm going to put a fraction in here. This is going to be P over Q. I'll put a little bit of extra space in there around the colon, such that P comma Q in these should be integers, and I want the GCD of P and Q to be 1. Notice that it realized that GCD was a function and changed the style to sort of straight Roman letters. And Q, I think I can do not equals like that. No, find it in the symbols. So this is basic math. I think there we go. Not equals. Q is not equal to 0. We're not allowed to divide by 0, and there should be a full stop at the end. Now there's one problem with this, and that is the AND here is in a sort of italic font. It's in the symbol font. We want it to be straight. So somewhere here there's this little AB here for text. Click that, it makes it straight. So it's a proper AND. Alright, I think that's probably enough.